So this video isn't exactly a response or rebuttal to a certain article or a certain journalist or a certain politician. This is more of a discussion of a policy and why I believe the policy is so immoral and wrong. And I'm going to talk about some of the arguments made for it and against it. So this video is about the separation of families at the border and the zero tolerance policy at the border. So I disagree with both. As you probably imagine, I'm a left-wing guy, so I disagree with both. And this is why I disagree with both. So zero tolerance policy, first of all, is inefficient, expensive, and in my opinion, pretty stupid. If you're gonna get people coming to your country illegally, and you don't want them here, you're gonna lock them up in your country and press charges against them and put them in court and put them in jails, wasting taxpayers' money. So that's the efficiency part. That's the problem with the zero tolerance policy overall. But where the real so that's my problem with zero tolerance. It's I think it's inefficient. I think it's stupid. You can have the debate on how to handle immigration, and in my opinion, the immigration process is too hard. So it's a given why people are coming into this country, quote unquote, illegally, even though they could be trying to escape persecution or violence, which is literally the foundations of our immigration philosophy for the United States. Give us your poor, give us your hungry. Y'all heard it before. I don't need to go into too much detail. But the real solid beef of this situation, the main part and the main problem is the treatment of families and children at the border, migrant families. Right now, we have a situation, and I know the executive order was signed, but I haven't heard if there's a solid plan to reunite the families. As we speak right now, there's still probably families that don't know when they're going to see their children or how they're going to see their children, and there's children that don't know when or if they're going to see their parents again. So that's the situation we're in right now in the United States of America. We're a first world developed country, and this is what we're doing to people. We're locking them up in internment camps. But the difference between this and the internment camps in World War II, we were at war with Japan. Now, admittedly, that wasn't the right decision. That was because multiple innocent American citizens were locked up unjustly. But that was a completely different situation. So I've seen people attack FDR for the internment camps, and you have the right to disagree with it and attack him on it. But we gotta recognize a different situation. We were attacked by Japan, and people were scared because of that. Now, that was a situation where fear overwhelmed logic. But the only difference in that situation and now is we were at war with Japan. We're not at war with these kids. These kids are just from different countries, but we're scared of people from different countries. That is not what our country is based around. And I don't believe the treatment of putting babies in camps, not only just putting them in camps, but separating them from their families. That's when it goes too far. That's when it goes too far. We can argue about the inefficiency of the zero tolerance policy, but when the zero tolerance policy includes the ripping of children from families, that's where there's an issue. Okay, so some arguments, Trump didn't start this, Obama started this. Well, I haven't found the information saying that Obama separated the families. I know Obama was deporting a lot of people, and I disagree with how Obama was handling the situation. But Obama also did things like the Dreamers, all that kind of jazz. And then they started saying Bill Clinton and George W. Bush were also involved. So then, okay, let's just say figuratively, and it's unconfirmed, so don't take this as fact. Let's just say they were involved. Let's just say figuratively. Are they president now? No, they're not. So, sorry if they actually did it in the past, but now people realize it and they have a problem with it. So yeah, just because they're criticizing your your dear leader, you're criticizing Trump, doesn't mean they're necessarily wrong for doing it. And just because they didn't criticize Obama, just because they didn't have the information. If only we had a mainstream media that gave information, even if it was at the expense of those in political power. Gee. So we can agree on that. We can agree we want a media that exposes these people in power for doing messed up stuff like this. But that's a different topic for a different video. Right now we're talking about the modern day, the current right now, that children are being separated from their families. And people just don't believe that's okay. So maybe people like to dehumanize these children and they think, oh, that's okay. Well, I gotta humbly disagree. And many Americans humbly disagree. And I think politically, this is horrible for Donald Trump and the Republican Party. I think in the long run, Donald Trump, he won the presidency. The Republicans have control of the House and Senate. They got that from Obama, from the Obama era. But I think the whole Trumpification of the Republican Party is going to hurt them. I think this whole oh, we need to be aggressive, we need to be mean, we need to separate families. I don't think it's going to help the Republican Party's image. They already had an image of in the 2000s of being like this whole old white guy club, and these people that are they don't understand new culture or minorities or people that are in different situations. It's an intolerant party. It already had that representation or that view. Now, I'm not saying that view is true, but it already had that view. And I think that this Trumpification of the party and that more Republicans are going to be embracing that Trump side of the Republican Party and moving more far right, even though they're already right. Like, if you look at the international political spectrum, really, the Democrats are center right. Republicans are more right than the Democrats. And this new Republicans, this new right, they are much farther right. I think I call them far right. And I'm not just saying that to disregard their opinion, but when you defend the separation of families, I think you're far right. When you have not that level of non-compassion and non-care, I think you're far right. And there have been defenders of this policy. So, yeah, that's that. This situation's pretty bad. The executive order was signed to halt the separation of families, but that was because of public scrutiny and public pressure. So congratulations on the public for that. But the reality is that the families are still separated right now. There's still the inefficient zero tolerance policy that's going to cost taxpayers money, because we're going to have to give these people that aren't our own citizens a trial, and we're going to have to put them in our jails. So the zero tolerance policy is another example of politicians thinking the only way to solve issues is to jail more people. Do it. So I got to disagree with that. And this video is mostly about the inhumane treatment that we're treating children. We're putting children in camps. Just let that sentence sit in. We, the United States, are putting babies and children in prison camps.